Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I want to share my thoughts on the recent town hall in which we heard Matt speak about listing SPS on a major exchange. What are the hurdles? What are the difficulties? How are we going to make this happen? And how will this be prioritized this year? Let's get into it. I'm going to share a clip and I'm going to give my thoughts. But obviously, Matt is cognizant of our desire to see that our token would reach a broader market, and that's going to be made available or possible as we reach big exchanges with that token. If people want on-ramps into a game, if they're even excited about what Splinterlands might be, they can't really touch it if they don't understand how to access the token. And I've had friends in my real life ask, like, how do I even get involved? And, sometimes it feels difficult or challenging, and every hurdle is an impediment. Every impediment to their joining, to buying the token is an impediment to their accessing our ecosystem, maybe getting excited about Splinterlands, and then, helping us grow what we've already seen is amazing and awesome. And so let's listen to a clip on what Matt has to say about what's holding us back with respect to listing even now, and the path forward with that, okay? And then I'll have some more thoughts for you. Here we go.
And then I know there's been a lot of proposals and talk about getting SPS listed on exchanges like Binance and Coinbase, which obviously I am for. I don't think we can just pass a proposal and then that means Binance or Coinbase is going to list the token. But I think, I think a lot of the things that will make it difficult for us to get the token listed are things like how it's structured, and that there's like kind of this, it's on Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum, and then there's also the in-game portion and like how it's held, where on Binance Smart Chain, for example, where the most of the data comes from, the vast majority of the tokens are just held in this one wallet, and those represent the tokens that are held in game. So that doesn't look great to larger exchanges that are looking at this token and trying to understand it. So I think if we really want a good chance of getting larger exchange listings, having our own SPS validator system live, where we can show it as a decentralized open source system that manages this token, and that's where all the data comes from. And then it's very clear that like the BNB Smart Chain and Ethereum tokens are just wrapped tokens, but so the official data comes from the SPS validators. I think that's going to go a really long way into the overall validity of this token in the market and getting us listings. So, I'm going to pause there. He has more thoughts that we need to hear, but I hope you're tracking what he's saying. It's the fact that the token is across. We have wrapped versions of it on in different ways, exposed to sort of outside eyes. It seems unclear or difficult to understand how the token operates. Where's the native token, and how many are there, etc. And if there's any lack of clarity, it becomes a point of difficulty for those who are curious about pursuing the token, right? So he wants, I guess, transparency, and that will come as we activate validator nodes, because it'll all be run on that level, that base layer, and it'll become more obvious to any onlookers, whether that's exchanges who are curious about whether or not we merit listing. And truly, like, listing on an exchange is not just a one-sided benefit to Splinterlands. Understand that the fees for the exchange would be potentially significant. And so it's almost an advertising position. You want to make your argument or your position as strong as possible, so when we go to the exchanges, or if they even maybe come to us at some point in the future, they clearly understand what we are, how we work, how many there are in, what's the daily volume, etc. If all that data is more centrally covered within the validator node operation, that ends up making our case to them more compelling, maybe more acceptable. And so that's what he's saying, that the validator nodes is the key. So then the lingering question is, well, when validator nodes? Let's hear what he has to say. It's not that I don't want these listings. I just realistically think these are the things we need to do to get them done. And that's going to be a big focus of at least a developer or two internally to get that done this year, come hell or high water, so to speak. Yeah. This year, come hell or high water, this year, activating validator nodes. People who have owned these things for years now, or I think it's years. I used to have a couple, and I certainly enjoyed the free SPS that came from holding those in advance of their sort of issuance, or not issuance, their launch.
was nice. And then ultimately I sold mine for more SPS because of the price decline in SPS. But man, I'm excited about the idea that our system would run on validator nodes. I'm excited about how that would be another step forward in decentralized autonomous organization of Splinterlands, meaning, there's not the game it's not the Steam Monsters company runs servers that activate all these things and track all this information. Some of it can and should be decentralized and covered by the validator nodes. On other blockchains, you see all of activity be covered by essentially what we would call the witnesses in other blockchains or other situations. But they essentially run the blockchain in a decentralized way, which is great from, it's harder to shut down. It incentivizes the people who are interested and who desire to support the network to give them an avenue to support the network and allow it to, go persevere and exist, moving into the future. So it's desirable from a lot of perspectives, and I think he's right that it would centralize sort of how our tokens are tracked, and it would probably improve our capacity to come forward as a negotiation, whether it's us pursuing exchanges or whether they then see our value proposition and desire to chase after us. But maybe the most exciting point is really that last one where he's saying when this year, hell or high water, this year, 2024, getting validator nodes operational and thereafter seeking exchange listing placement. Gotta hark one final note, gotta come back full circle to his almost first point, which is like, even if the DAO proposes get a listing on Binance, it doesn't mean Binance, he's like, yep, okay, let's go. The DAO says, right? So there's this, maybe the community feels we need to pursue this, and Matt is agreeing to that. But then there's this external factor. Do the exchanges see us as a value add to their clients, their customers? And probably the truth is yes and no. And so, time will tell when this happens, but Matt is squarely aiming at 2024, 2 major steps forward. Validator node launch, which should improve our ability to market ourselves to exchanges, and this year also major market listing for SPS. I would be super excited about that. I think you would be too. Let me know in the comments below whether you've got questions, concerns, maybe what about this timeline? Do you really believe it's plausible? Let me know. Have an amazing day. God bless.